Hi everyone, this is Gunjan from Extra Grades. I welcome you all to this lesson. Today I am going to discuss line by line explanation, word meanings, literary device, and themes of the poem When Great Trees Fall, which is written by Maya Angelou. So, children, experience is a hard teacher because she gives the test first and lesson afterwards. So, in order to be successful, children, success is a peace of mind, which is a direct result of self satisfaction in knowing you made the effort to become the best of which you are capable. If you are working on something that you really care about, you don't have to be pushed. The vision pulls you. So with these words, I begin my this particular lesson. And before that, let me ask you, have you subscribed to my channel? If you have not subscribed up till now, then please do. And watch the video till end. And press the like button if you have liked it. So children, let us start the lesson. Now first of all, let me tell you a summary in short about When Great Trees Fall. So the poem When Great Trees Fall is emotional as it raises a similarity between nature and humans. The poet equates great trees with great men and wants to say that the loss of great men from the earth is significant, just like the destruction of an old tree destabilizes equilibrium of the forest. The poem ends on a positive and comforting note that one can console oneself that once such great men existed around them. We can get inspiration from their lives and aim to be great like them. So, children, now this let me start with the line by line explanation of this poem. So, my first line in this poem is When great trees fall, rocks on distant hill shudder. So, children, what is the meaning of shudder? The word shudder means tremble. That is, to tremble or shake, usually from fear or cold, or in this context, is responsible to a significant event and distant shudder. Okay, so now in this particular poem, what does the poet say? The poet says that in the forest, when the big trees fall down, the earth trembles, which causes the huge rock to tremble. So here the literary device used is metaphor, that is the great trees, and great trees fall, rocks on distant hill shudder. So in these lines, the literary device used is metaphor, that is the great trees. Great trees fall, rocks on distant hill shudder. And children, in this particular poem, Maya Angelou uses throughout the poem the metaphor. The great trees represents influential figures or the great souls. Their falling stands for the death of these significant individuals. For instance, when great trees fall, rocks on distant hills shudder. The metaphorically conveys the profound impact of their loss. Now, in this particular case, even personification is also used, that is, rocks on distant hill shudder. The poet gives human characteristic to non-human entities, that is, rocks on distant hill shudder is an instance where inanimate rocks are portrayed as reacting to the fall of the great trees, embodying the rocks and tremors experienced by the society upon losing a significant figure. So, now, children, let us move to the next line. And the line says that lions hunker down in tall grasses and even elephants lumber after safety. So, children, hunker down means to squat close to the ground or to stay in a place for a while. In this case, it refers to animals trying to make themselves small or hide in response to danger. The word lumber means to move in a slow, heavy, and awkward way. Here it describes the elephant's movement as they seek safety. Now, the explanation of these lines. So, these lines continue the metaphor showcasing the ripple effect of the loss in nature. Animals, large and small, respond with fear and seek safety, symbolizing people's reaction to such a loss. So, here the literary device used is imagery, and the poet implies vivid imagery to evoke the reader's senses. For example, lions hunker down in tall grasses, and even elephants lumber after safety, paints a vivid picture of the animal world's reaction to the fall of great trees. So, here, children, the net idea of these lines here in the poet says that in the forest, when big old trees fall down, the earth trembles, which causes huge rocks to tremble. This scares lions and elephants too, which are considered the most fearless animals. The lions hide behind tall grasses, and the elephants move to safe places because the shivering indicates that a dangerous calamity is approaching. Now, the next line is lions hunker down in grasses, and even elephants lumber after safety. This I have already told you. Now, the next line is when great trees fall in forests, small things recall into silence, their senses eroded beyond fear. So, the word recall means to suddenly spring or flinch back in fear, horror, or disgust. That is to shrink. Eroded means worn out, that is gradually wear away or deteriorate. In this context, it is used metaphorically to describe the small creature's senses being overwhelmed or diminished beyond fear. So, the explanation of these lines is the falling of great tree in the forest causes the small creature to retreat into silence, representing the silence and shock that people often experience in the face of great loss. So, the poet Maya Angelou, she adds that when great trees fall down in the forest, the smaller animals and insects are fear stricken. They stop moving and become silent. Their facilities of sight, hear, etc. stop working due to intense fear, and that is why they become silent. Now, now over here, the literary device used is repetition. Repetition, that is when great trees fall. So, Maya Angelou repeats the phrase when great trees fall and when great souls die to emphasize the profound impact of such a loss. The repetition of they existed underlines the affirmation to their influence and presence. So here the word repetition is when great trees fall. That is, the poet has repeated these words in order to lay emphasis on these words. So now my next line is when great souls die, the air around us becomes light, rare, and sterile. So here the word sterile means in this context it means lacking in life, vitality or warmth. So here this particular word means this, and the explanation of the line is here Maya Angelou shifts from metaphor to directly speaking about the death of great souls, significant individuals. The altered quality of air symbolizes the stark change people feel in their environment after such a soul. So, here, when great souls die, then what happens? That the now the she is talking about the great men. Who are the great soul children? They are the great men who dies. So people who are left behind are grief stricken because they were their dear ones and they are unable to breathe. They feel that the air is polluted because they are not able to breathe because the heart is heavy with pain. So, yes, children, the line our eyes briefly see with a heartful clarity, our memory suddenly sharpened examines. So, the word clarity here means the quality of being clear, in particular, clearness in thought or perception. The word briefly means for a short time, sharpened means intensified or heightened, examine means to inspect closely or to scrutinize. The explanation of the line is that this speaks to the acute clarity that often accompanies grief when memories become sharper and certain realities become more apparent. And the literary device used here is assonance. And the word assonance, this is the repetition of the vowel sound in nearly words. For instance, in the line, our eyes briefly see with a heartful clarity. The repeated EE sound creates a rhythmic effect. Now, my next line is gnaws on kind words unsaid, promised, walks never taken. So, these over here, the word gnaws means bites or chews persistently. Unsaid means not spoken. So here the poet alludes to the regret that can surface after a loved one's passing. Kind words that were never spoken, promises that were never kept. My next line is great souls die and our reality bound to them take leave of us, our souls, dependent upon their nurture, now shrink and wizened. So, the word reality means the state of things as they actually exist. Here it refers to our perception of the world, which is shaped by the people who influence us. Take leave means to go away or depart. In this context, it's used metaphorically to describe the loss of reality and normalcy after a significant person's death. Bound means tied or linked closely. Here it refers to our deep connections with influential individuals. Dependent means needing someone or something else for support or help. So, in this stanza, it refers to our reliance on the guidance and influence of significant individuals in our lives. Nurture means to care for and encourage the growth or development of in this poem, it's used to represent the emotional and intellectual support provided by the great souls. Wizened means shrunken and wrinkled from age or illness. In this context, it describes the shriveling of souls after a great loss. Now, the explanation of these lines: when a person we deeply admired or loved passes away, our reality changes, leaving us feeling smaller and less nourished. The over here, the literary device used is snigdokchi. And what is snigdokchi, children? This is a figure of speech which is a part in which a part is made to represent the whole or vice versa. Here great trees and great souls stands for the entirety of the influential figures or significant individuals. So now I move towards next line, and the line is: our minds formed and informed by their radiance fall away. We are not so much maddened as reduced to the unutterable ignorance of dark cold caves. So here the word radiance means light or heat as emitted or reflected by something. Here it metaphorically describes the positive influence of great souls. Maddened means driven to madness, very annoyed or angry. Here it's used to convey the state of disarray or confusion that one feels after a loss. The literary device used in this line is number 1, simile. Here the poet uses simile to draw comparison while not explicit as traditional similes. Phrases like reduced to the unutterable ignorance of dark cold caves draw a comparison between the ignorance and confusion after a loss is being lost in dark cold caves. Another literary device used here is symbolism. And here the symbolism, dark cold caves, symbolizes ignorance and despair. So the explanation of this line is that the departed influence in our lives fades, leaving us in a state of profound ignorance and confusion similar to being lost in dark, cold caves. That is, the poet adds that when such great souls passes away, when great souls are not there, they leave us. The part of our life that was attached to them also ends. Our soul, which got their care, also gets shrunk due to lack of that care. Our mind, which was made up of their shining qualities, also starts to fall apart. It is not that we are angry that they have left us, but it is much more. The poet says that it is like we are alone in the dark caves, which is full of sadness and hopelessness. Now I move towards the next line, and the line, and when great souls die, after a period, peace blooms slowly and always, irregularly, spaces fill with a kind of soothing electric vibrations. So the word irregularly means in an irregular manner, not according to the usual rules or standards. In the context, it describes the unpredictable, non-linear process of healing. Vibration means a rapid back and forth movement, but in the context of this poem, it's used metaphorically to describe a soothing, comforting presence that fills the space left by the departed soul. So, the explanation of this line is despite the grief, Maya Angelou suggests that with time, peace returns, filling the void left by the departed with a healing, comforting energy. Hope children you are understanding. Now I move towards next line, and the line is our senses restored, never to be same, whispered to us. They existed, they existed. We can be and be better, for they existed. So the explanation of this line is slowly we regain our senses and come to acknowledge the existence and significance of the lost souls. The final lines encourage us to live and strive to become better individuals, honoring the memory and legacy of the ones who have passed. So here soothing means comforting and restored means brought back. So here Maya Angelou adds that when a great soul dies, after a gap, one experiences peace. It is a slow and gradual process. There is a kind of electric vibration which surrounds us and soothes us. The senses start working again, but they are not the same as before. The impact of the loss changes them. There is an inner talk which inspires us that the great men existed in the past, and similarly, even we can become great. It motivates us to be better and great like those great souls which once existed. So, here, children, we learn a very good poem in which we learn a lot about the existence of the person who are experienced person not only in our society but also in our life, in our family, and in our all the way around in our surroundings, because experience is a hard teacher. As I have told you, through experience you get a lot of knowledge, and experience gives the test first and the lesson afterwards. So when you experience things, then you can never forget that particular things. So never give up. What you do today can improve all your tomorrows. So the best preparation for tomorrow is doing your best today. Learn from yesterday, live for today, and hope for tomorrow. So, the great souls should never be forgotten. You should take a lesson from those and motivate your life to move further. Now, I'll tell you the theme of the poem. And my first theme is the first theme is death and loss. The central theme of the poem is the death of influential figures or great souls, represented metaphorically as the falling of great trees. Maya Angelou, the poet, delves into the profound sense of loss that accompanies such deaths, exploring the widespread impact and the deep sense of grief that follows. My second theme is grief and mourning. So, this theme means that it is closely related to the theme of death, and loss is the process of grief and mourning. The poem articulates the profound sadness, confusion, and regret that often surfaces in the wake of a significant loss, as well as the disorientation and feelings of emptiness that can ensue. The third theme of the poem is influence and legacies. Here, the metaphor of great trees and great souls highlights the substantial impact and influence of significant figures on those around them. The poem suggests that these individuals shape our realities from form and inform our minds and provide a sense of safety and guidance akin to a great tree in the forest. The fourth theme is healing and renewal. Despite the grief and loss, the poem explores themes of healing and renewal. Over time, peace slowly and irregularly blooms. Spaces fill with soothing vibrations, and there is a renewed sense of existence. This theme highlights the resilience of the human spirit and the possibility of growth and transformation even after a significant loss. My fifth theme of the poem is memory and acknowledgement. So, here in this poem, the repeated lines they existed emphasizes the importance of knowledge, the presence and significance of the departed souls. This theme underscores the power of memory and the importance of honoring and remembering the ones who have passed away. So, in this poem, Maya Angelou, when great trees fall is a reflective poem employing a style that seamlessly blends the vividness of imagery with depth of emotions. So children, this was all about the great trees fall. When great trees fall, that is when great souls die, that is all the experienced and knowledgeable persons must be honored and respected and must be remembered for their good deeds, whatever they have done. So, I hope this lesson will be beneficial for you in your studies. Do like, share, and subscribe my channel. Thank you.